My mother's jewelry went missing 2 weeks after her funeral. We searched everywhere. I thought we misplaced it in grief. Then I saw a necklace she wore every day around our neighbor's neck at the grocery store. I asked where she got it. She said, "It was a gift. From someone who's no longer with us." I reported it. She claimed we were harassing her. But when I checked my mom's old laptop, I found a photo taken the day before she died. Of that same neighbor standing in her bedroom. Uninvited. This happened last year in Marietta, Georgia. My mom, June, passed away from a stroke at the age of 68. It came out of nowhere. One day she was texting me about a pot roast recipe, and the next I got a call from the hospital. She was already gone by the time I got there. No warning, no goodbye. She wasn't sick. She didn't have any major issues, just some high blood pressure she kept under control. She still drove herself around, still hosted Sunday dinners. It was fast. That's what the doctor said. She didn't suffer. That's supposed to bring comfort. It didn't. My older brother, Sam, flew down from Minnesota for the funeral. He stayed for 3 days, said he couldn't take more time off work. I wasn't mad. People grieve differently. I took 2 weeks off and stayed in Mom's house to handle everything. I was closest with her. We talked every day. She was my best friend. The first few days were a blur. I went through her things slowly. Folded her sweaters. Read old birthday cards. Every time I opened a drawer, I half expected her voice to call out from the kitchen. That feeling of waiting for someone who isn't coming back, it never leaves. A few days after the funeral, I went to look for something specific, her sapphire necklace. Gold chain, small sapphire pendant. My dad gave it to her the day I was born. She wore it almost every day, even when she was just gardening or watching TV. It was her favorite piece. But it was gone. So was her pearl earring set. Her silver charm bracelet. And her wedding band, which she still kept in a little wooden box, even though Dad had passed away 5 years earlier. I told myself we must have moved it somewhere in the chaos. Maybe Sam packed it up by mistake. Maybe I did. Maybe grief was messing with my memory. I searched every drawer. The safe. Her closet. The kitchen, even the bathroom. Nothing. I called Sam. He said he hadn't touched the jewelry box. Said he remembered seeing it on the dresser the day of the funeral when we were going through paperwork. I started to doubt myself. Maybe she gave it to someone and forgot to mention it. Maybe she sold it. But none of that made sense. She was sentimental. She wouldn't give away that necklace. Not unless she was saying goodbye. 2 weeks after the funeral, I ran into our neighbor, Janine, at the grocery store. She's lived 4 houses down for about 10 years. We weren't close. She was always polite, kind of nosy, the type who always had her blinds open but never said much beyond hello? She was about 10 years younger than Mom, didn't have any kids, lived alone. I was picking up stuff from the deli when I saw her standing near the counter, laughing with the butcher. I wasn't going to say anything, but then I saw it. The necklace. Gold chain. Sapphire pendant. The same one my mom wore almost every day of her life. My heart dropped. I walked closer. I stared at it. "Where did you get that?" I asked, pointing right at it. She smiled, like I had just complimented her. "It was a gift," she said. Then, with this soft voice and this fake sad look, she added, "From someone who's no longer with us." I didn't say another word. I walked straight out of that store. The next day, I went to the police. I filed a report. I brought in photos of my mom wearing that necklace. Christmas photos, birthday photos, even a selfie she sent me from the hospital 2 months earlier. The same necklace, always around her neck. But Janine denied everything. Said the necklace belonged to her mother, who died in 2002. She even showed them a blurry photo from years ago with her wearing something that looked kind of similar. She said I was harassing her. That I was emotionally unstable, because of my mom's death. That I was projecting. The police said it was a civil matter. Said there wasn't enough evidence. I didn't sleep that night. Something didn't sit right. And for the first time in 2 weeks, I remembered Mom's old laptop. She used to take photos on it sometimes. Said the camera was easier than her phone. I hadn't looked through it yet. It was still sitting on the coffee table under a pile of sympathy cards. I opened it. The battery was dead. I plugged it in, waited, and started scrolling. Most of it was random junk. Screenshots of recipes. Pictures of birds from the backyard. A video of me blowing out candles from my last birthday. Then I found it. A photo, dated the morning before she died. It was a shot of her bedroom. Taken from her bed. The angle was low, like she was lying down. In the photo, standing in the doorway, was Janine. No smile. No wave. Just standing there. Uninvited. And in her hand, barely visible, was the corner of something shiny. I stared at that photo for at least an hour. I zoomed in. The timestamp said 6:48 a.m. The day before Mom died. She hadn't texted or called me that day. I assumed she was tired. But now I had to ask myself something terrifying. Was she even conscious when she took that photo? Was she scared? And why the hell was Janine in her room that early in the morning? I printed the photo. Took it straight to the police. Sat down with the same officer I spoke to before, Officer Donnelly. Mid-50s, tired eyes, didn't seem like the type to rock the boat. "This is Janine," I said, pointing right at her face. "This photo was taken the day before my mom died. She didn't have permission to be in that house." Donnelly leaned forward. "You say the laptop timestamp is correct?" "Yes." "I can bring the laptop in. Check it yourself." He squinted at the photo. "Could be her. Could be someone else. Hard to tell." "You got security cameras on the property?" "No," I said. "But maybe a neighbor does. Maybe there's caught her walking over." He nodded, slow. "We can ask around. But without proof she stole anything, all we've got is trespassing. And that's if we can prove it's not an old photo." I left feeling more angry than before. That night, I drove around the neighborhood. I knocked on doors, asked if anyone had security footage from 2 weeks ago. Most said no. One guy said his camera auto-deletes every 72 hours. I was about to give up when I reached the house across the street from my mom's. Mr. and Mrs. Langley. Retired couple. Real quiet, kept to themselves. I asked if they had cameras. Mrs. Langley nodded and invited me in. Her husband pulled up the footage from the morning before Mom died. There she was. Janine. Walking across the street at 6:35 a.m. Empty-handed. Then walking back at 7:10 a.m. Carrying a small purse and what looked like a cloth bag. Heavy. I thanked them and copied the footage to a USB. Took it straight to Officer Donnelly. This time, he paid attention. They called Janine in for questioning. She lawyered up fast. Said she was checking on my mom? As a concerned neighbor. Claimed my mom had given her things. As a thank you? Said she didn't think it would become a legal issue. The jewelry? She said it was a gift. But here's the twist. When the police searched her house under a warrant, they found more than just that necklace. They found the pearl earrings. The silver bracelet. The wedding band. They also found a handwritten note, one she claimed my mother gave her. It said, "Thank you for being so kind. I want you to have these." But the handwriting wasn't my mom's. Not even close. And they had samples to prove it. That's when everything changed. When I heard they found the note, I was stunned. I knew my mother's handwriting like my own. She had this neat, rounded style from years of teaching second grade. The note Janine gave them? Sharp angles. Sloppy letters. It looked nothing like her writing. The forensic report confirmed it. Not a match, they said. Forged. With that, the case finally opened up. Janine was arrested for possession of stolen property, forgery, and trespassing. But what should have brought me peace just made things worse. Because that's when I found something even more disturbing. I was still staying at my mom's house, trying to get through the mess of probate and selling the property. One night, I was going through a box of old photos in her closet. At the bottom of the box, under a stack of letters from my dad, was an old notebook. I opened it and started flipping through. Grocery lists. Quotes she liked. Notes to herself. And then, something caught my eye. It was a page with Janine's name. Actually, several pages. One entry said, "Janine came by again. Said she was worried about me being alone. Stayed too long. Wouldn't leave." Another dated 2 months before Mom died. "Felt dizzy today. Janine brought over tea. Tasted strange. Didn't finish it. Fell asleep for 4 hours. Then, don't trust her. Watch the tea." I felt sick reading it. She'd known something was wrong. She didn't say anything to me or Sam. Maybe she didn't want to worry us. Maybe she didn't want to seem paranoid. But she'd been scared. I took the notebook straight to Donnelly. "Do you think she was poisoning her?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. "Hard to say," he said. "We need an autopsy." "But we never had one," I said. "She died at home. Natural causes, right?" He nodded. "That's what the medical examiner ruled. Stroke. Common at her age." "But what if it wasn't?" I asked. He looked at me. "You want us to reopen her file?" "Yes." He sighed. "We'll talk to the ME. See if tissue samples were preserved. It's a long shot." While they looked into it, Janine made bail. She went back home. The day after she got out, I drove past her house. And I saw her standing in the window, wearing my mother's sweater. I froze in the middle of the street, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. It was unmistakable. My mom's cardigan, navy blue, with those tiny white daisies embroidered on the cuffs. I had folded it myself. I put it in the keep pile, planning to take it home. I could still smell her perfume on it. Somehow, it never made it into my suitcase. And now Janine was wearing it. Standing there in her living room window like it was just another day. Like she hadn't broken into a dying woman's house. Like she hadn't stolen from her. Lied about her. Maybe even helped her along to the end. That night I didn't sleep. I kept turning over everything I knew, everything I thought I knew. The photo of Janine in Mom's room. The missing jewelry. The fake note. The entries in the notebook. The tea. The guilt hit hard. I should have seen it. I should have known something was off. The police reopened the case. I gave them the notebook. They sent it to a handwriting expert and requested old medical records from Mom's doctor. A week later, I got a call from Officer Donnelly. "We got results," he said. "Tissue samples were preserved. There were traces of digoxin in her system." Digoxin. A heart medication. Fine in small doses. Deadly if overused. Mom didn't have a heart condition. "Was it murder?" I asked. "We're calling it suspicious death. But proving intent this far out, especially without signs of forced entry, makes prosecution harder." Harder. Not impossible. I went home and sat with that word for a long time. Harder. Janine didn't act like someone afraid of consequences. She acted smug. She wore my mother's clothes. Her necklace. Like she won. Like she was untouchable. But I wasn't finished. I contacted a lawyer. Filed a civil suit. Wrongful death. Theft. Emotional distress. I subpoenaed Janine's phone records, her emails. My lawyer pushed hard, and slowly, we got more. Turns out she'd been Googling some interesting things in the weeks leading up to Mom's death. How much digoxin is too much? How to get power of attorney? Elderly woman confused what to do. She tried to argue it was coincidence. That she just wanted to help my mom. That my mom gave her the jewelry, and the clothes and the keys. She never had a key. The court didn't buy it. She lost. The judge ordered her to pay damages, turn over all the jewelry, and submit to a full psychiatric evaluation. But even then, it didn't feel like enough. Money? Jewelry? What was that next to what she took? Mom. Still, I thought that might be the end of it. Until one more thing happened. A year later, I got a call from Mrs. Langley, the neighbor with the security footage. I thought you should know, she said. Know what? She's selling her house. Janine. Moving out. Big yard sale happening this weekend. I drove over that Saturday. Parked down the street. Didn't say a word. Just watched from my car. She was out front, folding tables full of junk. And on one table, a small wooden box. I got out of the car and walked over. Janine's face turned white. I pointed. That was my mom's. She kept her ring in that box. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. It's just a box. I didn't respond. I picked it up. Opened it. Inside was the wedding band. She hadn't turned it in. She'd hidden it. I smiled. Turned to her and said, This time, I'm calling the cops from your front yard. She lunged forward to grab the box. I stepped back. The crowd that had gathered, neighbors, strangers, just stared. She started screaming. She's crazy! This is harassment! I didn't say a word. Just dialed the police. Officer Donnelly showed up 10 minutes later. Saw the ring. The box. Saw her shaking. Saw me calm as ice. He looked her dead in the eye and said, You really thought you got away with it. This time, she didn't walk. New charges. Violation of court orders. Evidence tampering. She lost her house. Her reputation. Her freedom. She didn't get jail for murder. They couldn't prove it beyond doubt. But she got time. 2 years for everything else. When the sentence came down, I was there in court. She looked at me. No tears. No apology. Just that same cold stare. I leaned in and whispered, Tell the judge where you got the necklace. She didn't speak. But I walked out of that courtroom with the ring, the necklace, the bracelet, and my mother's name cleared. It didn't bring her back. But Janine would never forget the day she looked out her window and saw her lives falling apart. And I'll never forget what grief can hide, until you look it in the face and start digging.